The peaceful afternoon at the seaside pier was shattered by a thunderous crash. Onlookers gasped as a massive creature, unlike anything they'd ever seen, slammed into the wooden structure. The impact sent splinters flying and left everyone frozen in place, their eyes wide with shock and curiosity. Moments later, the crowd's disbelief deepened as they realized this wasn't just an ordinary creature. "What the heck is that?" Susie yelled as she pointed at the water. She held onto a pole for dear life as the pier shook like crazy. Wooden beams splashed into the water below, and the pier's structure was losing its strength. "We have to get out of here!" Logan, Susie's husband, yelled, and he tried to grab her hand. But right at that moment, the wooden floor gave way, and he watched his wife fall into the sea. People screamed as their loved ones disappeared into the rough water, with the massive creature still swimming nearby. Logan fell to his knees, looking down the hole his wife had just fallen through. He prayed he would see her head pop above water. Moments later, Susie appeared, spitting out seawater and gasping for air. She splashed around, trying to swim to shore, but the current was too strong. "Try to hold on to a piece of wood," Logan yelled. His heart raced as he tried to think of ways to save her life, but it would be a difficult task because he couldn't swim. 2 helicopters appeared in the sky, and Logan thought they were there to rescue everyone who was in danger. However, he quickly figured out the helicopters were only there for the creature. Suddenly, someone grabbed Logan's shoulder. Looking up, he saw an FBI agent pulling him away from the hole in the pier. "Get out while you can!" the agent yelled. The FBI's promise. "My wife's down there!" Logan yelled as he tried to get back to the hole, but the FBI agent held him tightly. "You'll get arrested if you go back. We will save your wife," the agent said as soon as he had pulled Logan onto the street. Onlookers had gathered, being drawn to the site by the erupted chaos. Everyone wanted to know what kind of creature caused this. Meanwhile, in the water, Susie tried her best to keep her head above the water. The waves clashed into the pier's wooden poles, splashing salt water into her eyes. Her vision was blurred, making it difficult to locate something to hold on to. Her heart raced as she looked around, seeing a large, shadowy creature swim underneath her. All she heard were screams and the sound of the waves. It was truly terrifying. For a moment, she thought the creature was gone, but then it would appear again, as if it was swimming in large circles. Suddenly, one of the helicopters lowered a rope in Susie's direction, and she managed to grab it and wrap it around her waist. Susie was pulled out of the ocean. Looking down, she couldn't believe the creature's actual size. It was massive. Out of nowhere, the other helicopter shot something at the creature, hitting it right in the middle of its spine. The creature splashed around in pain for a bit, then quickly swam away. But Susie knew this wouldn't be the last she would see of it. They needed her. Susie was pulled into the helicopter and saw 2 FBI agents sitting inside. Not thinking much of it, she flung a heating blanket around her shoulder, staring out of the window. She couldn't wait to be reunited with Logan, but little did she know she wouldn't be seeing him for a very long time. "Dr. Trolova?" one of the agents asked. "We're taking you to your lab." Susie's stomach dropped. How did they know she was a marine biologist? And how did they know where her lab was? She stayed quiet, her heart pounding in her chest. Her mind raced with questions, but she didn't want to ask them just yet. She had heard a lot of stories about the FBI and didn't trust them one single bit. They had different goals than her. The helicopter landed on a secure helipad, agents pulling Susie out quickly. The air was filled with the hum of machinery and the distant chatter of personnel. Susie's legs wobbled as she was rushed towards a building, her mind racing. The stern faces of the agents offered no comfort. She felt a growing sense of dread, but there was no time to process it. Susie was rushed inside a government facility. The urgency in the agents' movements clear. The fluorescent lights overhead flickered, casting a sterile glow on everything. Susie tried to catch glimpses of her surroundings, but the agent's hurried pace made it difficult. Each step echoed in the cold, unwelcoming corridors. Her heart pounded, the reality of her situation sinking in deeper with every passing second. She was led through a maze of sterile hallways, the surroundings unfamiliar and intimidating. The walls were lined with doors, each one looking identical to the next. Susie could hear the faint hum of electronic equipment behind some of them. The agents guiding her remained silent, their expressions unreadable. She felt like a lab rat being led through a meticulously planned experiment. Susie's mind raced, wondering why she had been brought here. She thought of the creature, its massive form and mysterious behavior. What could the FBI want with her? She was just a marine biologist, not someone used to covert operations and secret facilities. The questions buzzed in her head, but she knew now wasn't the time to ask. She needed answers, but she also needed to stay calm. The agents remained silent, their expressions giving nothing away about their intentions. Susie's anxiety grew with each step. She glanced at their faces, hoping to find some clue about what was happening. But their eyes were forward, focused, and distant. The silence was oppressive, heightening the tension. Susie felt a cold sweat on her back, her mind swirling with possibilities and fears. In a brightly lit room, Susie was greeted by Dr. Stevens, a stern-looking scientist. His face was lined with years of stress and concentration. "Dr. Trolova, I presume," he said without a hint of a smile. The room was filled with various screens and equipment, all buzzing with activity. Susie's eyes darted around, taking in the high-tech surroundings. This was far from a simple marine research lab. Dr. Stevens explained that the creature had been part of secret government research for years. "We've been tracking it, studying its patterns," he said, his voice serious. "It's unlike anything we've ever encountered before." Susie listened, her mind racing with the implications. The creature wasn't just an anomaly. It was a subject of intense study. This revelation made her feel both intrigued and uneasy. Susie listened as he detailed the creature's extraordinary characteristics and behaviors. "It has adaptive camouflage, can survive in extreme conditions, and displays a level of intelligence we didn't anticipate," Dr. Stevens continued. Susie's eyes widened as she processed the information. The creature was far more complex than she'd imagined. She couldn't help but think about the potential risks and the importance of understanding it fully. With her expertise in marine biology, Susie realized she was key to understanding the creature. Dr. Stevens seemed to sense her thoughts. "Your work on marine ecosystems and animal behavior is crucial to our research," he said. Susie nodded slowly, feeling a mix of pride and pressure. She knew her skills were valuable, but the weight of the responsibility was immense. She had to help, no matter what. Dr. Stevens emphasized the importance of controlling the creature for public safety. "We can't let it roam freely," he said, his tone grave. "If it were to reach populated areas, the consequences could be disastrous." Susie swallowed hard, understanding the stakes. She nodded, her resolve strengthening. Whatever doubts she had, there was no turning back now. She had to ensure the creature was contained and studied properly. Logan, left behind at the pier, was frantic for news about Susie. His mind raced with worry, and he scanned the chaotic scene for any sign of her. The remnants of the pier still smoldered, and the crowd buzzed with speculation. Logan pushed through, desperation evident in his eyes. He had to find out where the helicopters had taken her, no matter what it took. He asked anyone he could find if they knew where the helicopters had taken her. "Did you see where they went?" Logan pleaded with a bystander. Most people shrugged or shook their heads, too caught up in their own shock. He grabbed a security guard. "Please, my wife was taken. "Do you know where?" The guard looked unsure, but pointed towards the direction the helicopters had flown. Determined to find Susie, Logan decided to follow any leads, no matter the risk. He couldn't just stand by and do nothing. Asking around the nearby shops and diners, he pieced together bits of information. "They went north," a fisherman said. Logan nodded, steeling himself. He had no clear plan, but he knew he had to act. Susie needed him, and he wouldn't let her down. Logan's search led him to shady parts of town, asking questions no one wanted to answer. The streets grew darker, and the people more elusive. "Have you seen anything unusual?" he asked a group of men huddled in an alley. They glanced at him suspiciously before one mumbled, "Maybe. What's it to you?" Logan explained his situation, hoping for a scrap of useful information. He resolved to go against the FBI if it meant finding his wife. Logan's frustration grew with every dead end. The authorities were tight-lipped, and he couldn't trust anyone. "I'll do it myself," he muttered, determination hardening his resolve. If the FBI wouldn't help, he'd find another way. Susie was out there, and Logan was ready to take on anyone who stood in his way. Susie was shown footage of the creature's previous appearances, revealing its unusual behaviors. The screen flickered to life, displaying grainy images of the creature in various settings. It moved with a grace that belied its size, blending into its surroundings with ease. Susie watched, transfixed, as it displayed behaviors she had never seen in marine life. Each clip raised more questions than answers. Dr. Stevens explained the government had observed the creature for years due to its unique traits. "We've been monitoring it closely," he said, pointing to the timeline on the screen. "Its abilities make it an invaluable subject." Susie nodded, absorbing the gravity of his words. The government's interest wasn't just scientific, it was strategic. She realized the creature's potential impact was far-reaching. Susie felt a mix of horror and curiosity watching the creature on the screen. The footage showed it interacting with its environment in ways that were both fascinating and unsettling. "It's almost intelligent," she whispered, eyes glued to the screen. Dr. Stevens nodded. "Exactly. That's why we need your expertise." Susie couldn't tear her gaze away, torn between fear and scientific intrigue. She realized the creature was unlike any marine animal she had ever studied. Its behaviors, its adaptability, everything about it defied conventional understanding. Susie's mind raced with possibilities, each one more extraordinary than the last. "This changes everything," she thought, feeling a surge of excitement despite the danger. Her life's work had led her here, to a discovery that could redefine marine biology. The footage showed the creature interacting with its environment in surprisingly intelligent ways. It used tools, communicated with other sea life, and exhibited problem-solving skills. Susie leaned forward, captivated. "It's like nothing we've ever seen," Dr. Stevens remarked. Susie nodded, her mind whirling with the implications. This creature wasn't just an anomaly, it was a breakthrough. She knew she had to learn more. Rachel Logan tracked down Rachel, a journalist investigating secret government projects. He found her in a bustling cafe, her eyes scanning documents and scribbling notes. "Rachel," he asked, desperation in his voice. She looked up, recognizing the urgency. "I need your help," Logan continued. Rachel nodded, intrigued. She had heard whispers of the incident at the pier and was eager to uncover the truth. Rachel agreed to help Logan find Susie, sharing her research. "I've been following leads on this creature for months," she said, spreading out her files. Logan leaned in, hope flickering in his eyes. Rachel showed him maps, photos, and classified documents. "The government is hiding something big," she whispered. Logan felt a surge of determination. With Rachel's help, he had a fighting chance. Together, they uncovered clues pointing to a high-security government lab. "This place is off limits to civilians," Rachel said, pointing to a heavily guarded facility on the map. Logan's heart sank, but he refused to give up. "We have to get in," he insisted. Rachel nodded, her eyes steely with resolve. They needed a plan, and they needed it fast. Time was running out. Rachel's information suggested Susie was being held there for her expertise. "They need her knowledge about marine life," Rachel explained. Logan's fists clenched. "Then they won't hurt her?" he asked, hopeful but wary. "Not if she's valuable to them," Rachel replied. Logan felt a mixture of relief and frustration. Knowing Susie was safe for now, he focused on finding a way to reach her. Logan and Rachel planned their next steps, determined to rescue Susie. "We'll need disguises, and we'll have to move quickly," Rachel said, outlining their strategy. Logan nodded, his mind racing. They gathered supplies and studied the facility's layout. "We'll get her back," Logan vowed. Rachel squeezed his shoulder, offering a reassuring smile. Together, they prepared to infiltrate the lab, ready to face any danger. Susie began working with the scientists to understand the creature's motives and origins. She spent hours in the lab, analyzing data and watching footage. "We need to figure out what drives it," she said during a meeting. The team nodded, sharing her urgency. Susie's expertise was invaluable, and she knew they were on the brink of a significant discovery. Every detail mattered. She observed the creature displaying highly intelligent behaviors, suggesting a purpose. It wasn't just surviving, it was thriving in ways that hinted at deeper motivations. Susie watched in awe as it solved complex problems and communicated with other sea creatures. "It's like it has a mission," she mused aloud. The other scientists agreed, their curiosity piqued. This was no ordinary marine animal. Susie's empathy for the creature grew as she realized it wasn't just a mindless beast. She saw the intelligence in its eyes and the careful way it moved. "It's trying to tell us something," she thought, feeling a connection she hadn't anticipated. Her heart ached for the creature, trapped and misunderstood. She knew she had to find a way to help it. She documented the creature's actions, noting its search patterns. Susie meticulously recorded every movement, trying to piece together the puzzle. "It's looking for something," she concluded. The patterns were too deliberate, too focused. Her notes filled page after page, each observation bringing her closer to understanding. The creature's intent became clearer, and Susie's determination to uncover the truth grew stronger. Susie suspected the creature was looking for something specific, deepening her resolve to help. What could it be searching for, she wondered, her mind racing with possibilities. The more she learned, the more she believed in its purpose. This wasn't just about survival, it was a quest. Susie's resolve hardened. She had to assist the creature in finding what it sought, no matter the challenges ahead. Logan and Rachel's investigation brought them closer to the truth about the government's secrets. They discovered files and testimonies that painted a disturbing picture of hidden experiments and cover-ups. "We're onto something big," Rachel said, excitement and fear mingling in her voice. Logan nodded, his determination unwavering. The pieces were falling into place, revealing a conspiracy that went deeper than they had imagined. They were pursued by mysterious agents determined to keep the projects hidden. One night, as they sifted through documents in a dimly lit room, they heard footsteps approaching. "We have to go now," Rachel whispered urgently. They grabbed their findings and slipped out the back, narrowly avoiding capture. The chase was on, and Logan's heart pounded as they ran through the darkened streets. Despite the risks, Logan and Rachel pressed on, driven by their mission to find Susie. They knew they couldn't stop now. "We're getting closer," Logan said, his voice filled with determination. Rachel agreed, her eyes sharp and focused. The dangers were real, but so was their resolve. They had to find Susie and uncover the truth, no matter what obstacles stood in their way. They used their combined wits and resources to evade capture. Rachel hacked into security systems, while Logan kept watch. "We need to stay one step ahead," she said, fingers flying over the keyboard. They changed locations frequently, never staying in one place too long. Their resourcefulness and quick thinking kept them safe, but they knew the clock was ticking. They had to move fast. Logan's resolve to reunite with Susie grew stronger with each step they took. Every clue they uncovered, every narrow escape, fueled his determination. "We're going to find her," he repeated like a mantra. Rachel's confidence in their mission bolstered his spirit. The bond they formed through their shared struggle was unbreakable. Logan's love for Susie and his unyielding hope kept him moving forward. Logan and Rachel finally located the secret facility where Susie was held. It was nestled in a remote, heavily guarded area. "This has to be it," Logan whispered, peering through binoculars. Rachel nodded, her face set with determination. They studied the layout, noting security patterns and entry points. It was now or never. Their mission had led them here, and they were ready. Breaking in proved challenging, but they devised a clever plan. Rachel used her tech skills to disable some of the cameras. "We've got a small window," she said, urgency in her voice. Logan nodded, ready to move. They timed their approach perfectly, slipping past guards and avoiding detection. Every step was calculated, their nerves taut. This was their only chance to reach Susie. Using the information they had gathered, they outsmarted the security measures. Logan picked locks while Rachel navigated through the facility's network. "We're almost there," Rachel whispered. They moved with precision, evading alarms and bypassing locked doors. The facility was a maze, but their preparation paid off. Finally, they reached the room where Susie was held, their hearts pounding with anticipation and hope. Inside, they found Susie, who was stunned but relieved to see them. "Logan?" she gasped, tears welling in her eyes. Logan rushed to her, pulling her into a tight embrace. "We're here to get you out," he said. Rachel stood guard, her eyes scanning for any threats. Susie's relief was palpable, but they knew their mission wasn't over yet. They had to move quickly. The trio quickly formulated an escape plan, knowing time was against them. "We have to be fast," Rachel urged. They mapped out their route, considering every obstacle. Susie, though exhausted, was determined to help. "Let's do this," she said, steeling herself. They gathered their supplies and steeled their nerves. The clock was ticking, and they needed to act swiftly to ensure their safe escape. As Logan, Rachel, and Susie reunited, alarms blared throughout the facility. "We've been detected," Rachel shouted over the noise. The red lights flashed, casting eerie shadows. Logan grabbed Susie's hand. "We need to move, now!" he urged. The sound of boots echoed in the corridors. Their brief moment of relief turned into a frantic dash for freedom. They had to outrun the security forces. They realized a breach had occurred, signaling the need for immediate escape. "They know we're here," Rachel said, her voice tense. Susie looked around, fear gripping her. "Which way?" she asked. Logan pointed to a map. "This way." They sprinted through the facility, alarms blaring louder with each step. Every second counted, and the urgency of their situation fueled their desperation. The trio dodged guards and avoided traps, their determination fueled by urgency. They ducked behind corners, waited for patrols to pass, and used every trick they knew. "Stay close," Logan whispered, leading the way. Susie's heart pounded, but she kept moving. Rachel disabled a security camera. "Clear," she signaled. They pressed on, their path filled with obstacles, but their resolve unshaken. Amid the chaos, Susie stumbled upon a restricted laboratory with crucial information. "Wait, look at this," she called out. Logan and Rachel joined her, eyes widening at the sight of confidential files and strange equipment. Susie scanned the documents quickly. "This could be important," she said, grabbing as much as she could. The laboratory held secrets that might change everything. They couldn't leave empty-handed. She discovered the creature was a mutated whale searching for its baby, stolen by thieves for experiments. Susie's breath caught as she read the files. "It's been looking for its baby," she whispered. Logan's eyes widened. "We have to help it," he said firmly. The revelation was shocking, but it gave them a new mission. They had to reunite the creature with its lost offspring. The revelation about the creature hit Susie hard, igniting her resolve to help it. She felt a surge of empathy and determination. "We can't let this go on," she said firmly. Logan and Rachel saw the fire in her eyes. The creature wasn't just a subject, it was a desperate mother. Susie's resolve strengthened, knowing they had to reunite the whale with its baby. Susie shared the information with Logan and Rachel, highlighting the importance of their mission. "This changes everything," she said, spreading the documents out. Rachel's eyes widened. "We have to help it," Logan agreed. The trio huddled together, their purpose clear. The stakes were higher than ever, and their mission took on a new urgency. They were determined to right this wrong. They devised a plan to free the creature and reunite it with its baby. "We need to disable the security and create a diversion," Rachel said, sketching a layout of the facility. Susie nodded, adding details. "We can't leave until they're safe," Logan added. Their plan was risky, but it was their only chance. With everything in place, they prepared for the daring rescue. Facing obstacles. The trio faced numerous obstacles but remained undeterred, driven by their purpose. They encountered locked doors, armed guards, and high-tech security systems. "Keep moving," Rachel urged, hacking into another terminal. Logan kept watch, while Susie carried the crucial files. Each challenge tested their resolve, but they pressed on, their determination unshaken. They were united by a common goal: freeing the creatures. Their courage and ingenuity saw them through as they navigated the facility. Susie's quick thinking, Rachel's technical skills, and Logan's strength made a formidable team. "Almost there," Rachel said, unlocking the final door. They moved swiftly, evading detection and outsmarting security measures. Every step brought them closer to their goal. Their hearts pounded with anticipation, knowing the most challenging part was yet to come. Susie, Logan, and Rachel executed their plan to free the creature and its baby. They moved swiftly, each knowing their role. Rachel hacked into the mainframe to disable the alarms. "Go now!" she urged. Logan and Susie sprinted towards the holding tanks. The facility was a maze, but they navigated it with precision. Their hearts pounded, knowing there was no room for error. They encountered fierce resistance, but pressed on with unwavering determination. Guards appeared from every corner, weapons drawn. "Keep moving!" Logan shouted, fending off an attacker. Susie ducked behind a console, her mind racing. Rachel's fingers flew over the keyboard, disrupting security protocols. The trio fought through the chaos, their resolve unbreakable. They were close, but the hardest part was still ahead. In a climactic confrontation, they managed to release the whale and its baby into the ocean. Logan forced open the heavy doors while Susie guided the creatures. "This way!" she called out. Rachel set off a series of diversions, buying them precious time. The water surged as the creatures were freed. They watched in awe as the whale and its baby swam away, finally free. The successful rescue exposed the government's unethical experiments to the world. Footage and documents were leaked, causing a media frenzy. "They'll never get away with this," Rachel said, satisfaction in her voice. Logan and Susie nodded, relieved. The world reacted with outrage and demanded justice. The facility's dark secrets were laid bare, sparking widespread condemnation and calls for accountability. The trio ensured the creatures' safety, bringing justice and closure to their ordeal. Susie watched the ocean, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. Logan wrapped an arm around her, and Rachel stood beside them, smiling. "We did it," Logan said softly. Susie nodded, tears in her eyes. They had faced incredible odds and emerged victorious. The creatures were safe, and their mission was complete.